Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. We are back. It's Friday, December 10th. In this episode, Barcelona are a disaster. The Premier League is dominant with 4 through. Kyle Walker is a moron. But first, Mike, it's back. COVID, Spurs, disaster. Discuss what is going on with your team. How many games have they missed in the last 10 days?
Only 2. Well, now it'll be, so they're going to miss Brighton on the weekend, so that'll be 2. But so the interesting thing is that they had their game today against Stade Rennes in the last game of
They bailed on it.
They bailed on it.
Yeah.
It's the last game of the Europa Conference League. Remember that one?
Leicester City will be joining you.
Great. I don't know the rules on who advances and who doesn't.
There's a playoff, apparently.
Great. More games. But if Spurs were to lose this game or potentially forfeit it, then I'm under the impression that they would drop out of the competition, which would mean wonders for their Premier League campaign. I cannot even begin to express to you how badly I want out of this fucking thing. And I know what you're saying, and I know what some Spurs supporters are saying across the pond. Well, it's a real chance to win a trophy. Yes, it is. And I know we haven't won a trophy since 2008, and I know that one's still make-believe too. The real last trophy that Spurs won was 1991, and it was the FA Cup.
Hey, against Manchester City, very famous game.
But I'm just not like this. Like, stop
All right.
Because it's going to come at the cost of the Premier League season, if you will. But, so there's a couple of takes on this. Hey, good thing everybody got vaccinated, right? This is a variant that hasn't killed anybody in the world. And we're stopping everything. We're stopping world travel. We're stopping games. We're stopping everything in the name of science.
It's madness. It's madness. I agree. I'm the least skeptical skeptic of Skepticalville. I've got all the things, blah, blah, blah. I'm over it. Like, I'm double vaxxed. I'm over it. I hope just for context, let's take a step back. Spurs have an outbreak on their team. There's outbreaks everywhere. The English government was telling everyone not to have parties and get together, and then they had a party at 10 Downing Street. Good.
Sounds like California.
Yeah, but I do want to go through scores because this is a soccer podcast, and we talk about soccer, but we don't talk about the Champions League. But I'm gonna go through it. Are you ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
There's a lot of games. Ready? Leipzig 2, City 1, dead river of the group. City finished top. Kyle Walker's a moron. PSG win 4-1 versus Club Brugge. I don't even know where Bruges is. Ajax.
It's in Belgium.
Slept on giant, undefeated in their group.
Hey.
Sebastian Haller, West Ham reject, set the record for goals in the group stage with like 37. Porto Atletico Madrid plays one of the worst games ever in one of the biggest disaster classes of shithousing ever. Are you ready? Are you ready for the stat? The average game has 60 minutes of play on the field, right? The ball is in play for 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's normal. Atletico managed to get this game to be down to 50. And that's not even close. That's not even close.
Diego Simeone sat there with a cigar with his feet up going, that was my masterpiece.
50 minutes. They made the game 50 minutes of play. Ew. Real Madrid 2, Inter 0. The Inter had a red card. Italy is a terrible league. That brings us to Liverpool versus AC Milan. Liverpool play the kids, don't even care. Milan needs to win to get through, and they don't even make it to Europe. Italy is a terrible league, and they're falling apart, and they're broke. Shakhtar versus the Sheriff. I don't even know where either of those places are. Besiktas loses 5-0 to Dortmund. Dortmund drop into the moon door that is the Europa League without Spurs, honestly, and without Leicester. Zenit 3, Chelsea 3, regression to the mean here. Kepa's in goal for this one, but Chelsea blow this and now finish second in the group, which means they can get PSG and Madrid. Ooh, Juve go undefeated in the group. They're terrible in Italy, but they're good in the Premier League, and I think in Syria, in the Champions League, and I think it's mostly because they get to play Malmo. Benfica go through. They beat Kiev Dynamo. That's a big win for them. Lille, also French champions, win their group, but are terrible in France. Weird. RB Salzburg, the first Austrian team to make it to the round of 16 in a long time. They beat Sevilla. Bad performance by Sevilla. Man United versus Young Boys at home, a draw. They were through, not really a big deal. Bayern Munich 3, Barcelona 0. Barcelona score only 2 goals in the entire group stage.
In 6
They
games.
try and play. They get annihilated. Bayern don't even show up. Barcelona are a disaster. And in the final game of the group, Villarreal pull it out behind my guy, Dan Juma. If you watched the championship and you paid attention to Bournemouth, you know about Dan Juma. Dan Juma's incredible. He gets 2 goals, pulls Villarreal out of beautiful Atalanta. And we've got to go to the standings and tell you who goes through. Here I go. Oh my God, that was the results. City, PSG are through. Liverpool, Atletico Madrid are through. Ajax and Sporting Lisbon are through. Real Madrid and Inter through. Bayern and Benfica. Manchester United and Villarreal. Lille, RB Salzburg are through. Juve and Chelsea. Zenit, Sevilla, Atalanta. Barcelona, in the Europa. Looking forward to
That's
them
what I was saying.
being
There's
in
3
West
headlines.
Ham. Yeah,
Because
Sheriff go to Europa. Dortmund, Porto, RB Leipzig. That's the most Champions League we've done in a long time. But that was your speed minute. Woo!
Yes. And so
let's go to Barca.
There's 3 headlines, right? We're looking at the standings, and I would suggest that if you're listening to this, maybe you pull up the standings on your phone and do it as well. But the headlines again: Italy, disaster, just disaster quest, with the exception of Juve, which we'll get to in a second. But Dortmund drops out of the Champions League. Do they sell Haaland in January now? Maybe.
They should.
Maybe. That's really, really interesting. The big bombshell, you already alluded to it, is Benfica goes through in Group E in the 2nd spot, and Barcelona, mighty Barcelona, how they have fallen all the way to Europa League.
They will see West Ham in hell.
Atalanta is joining them as well. I'm sad for them. They're basically Italian Leicester, right? So
Italian Brighton, except better.
Yeah. So they're a team you root for, but unfortunately you'll have to root for them in the Europa League. And then in Group H, Chelsea with some curious personnel decisions, with the opportunity. Now, let's be clear: if they win, aside from something extraordinary with extraordinary, by the way, I was about to say that. Juve had to win by like 5 or 6 goals.
Yeah.
Right. So all they needed to do was win at Zenit. To be clear, in December, not an easy place to go.
It was very fucking cold.
It's horrible.
It's St. Petersburg.
You go there, you win, you guarantee first place in the group, which means for the uninitiated, you get one of the second place teams that Laurent just ran through. Right. You cannot play one of the first place teams.
It's tough. And you can't play your own country.
You can't play your own country. That's correct. But so now you're potentially going to face a Real Madrid, a Bayern,
PSG.
No, you won't play PSG because they finished second. But realistically, there's 2 giants out there for you that you want to avoid.
Chelsea, it's PSG and Real, I think.
No. It's Real and Bayern because they finished second.
The one. Right.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
They shouldn't be worried about Real. They're better than Real, honestly.
Sure, but nonetheless, but you start Kepa. There were most of these games that you mentioned were dead rubbers, and it didn't matter, right? United, City, there were a handful of them. In fact, there were only 2
City's was a dead rubber until the fucking moron Kyle Walker decided to kick.
And we'll get to that in 2 seconds. But I just don't understand Tuchel's thinking with what he didn't want Mendy to get a cold in Russia. Like I don't understand that.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
They end up drawing 3-3 with Zenit. Very entertaining game. And as a result of that, like I said, they dropped to second in the group. So that could have, I don't remember when the draw is, but that could have ramifications.
It's coming, I think,
later down
tomorrow. Usually.
That makes sense.
It's actually, when you listen to this, the results of it probably will have come out. I think it's usually Friday morning after the Thursday.
Right.
I do want to touch on, I think, something that's weirdly underreported. Like, I think the punditry that covers Barcelona is more so around, their results are bad, this teams are bad. I think they're in like a full-on existential crisis. Missing they could miss the Champions League and be in the Europa League. You know this as a Spurs fan. It's about a loss of $80 million off the bottom line, which they don't have. Anytime anyone sees anything, look, I'm going to look into the camera. When you see a rumor that Barcelona is going to sign someone, it's a total lie. The team is completely 100%, 1,000 times over bankrupt. They don't have any money. They're completely run poorly. The money is, they're barely paying their players. This team is a disaster. Every moment that COVID continues or COVID fears continue and people don't travel is money flying out of the door of Barcelona. This team is in free fall and could become the Spanish Arsenal. I'm not being funny.
Oh, no,
that's
worse
not
than
hyperbole.
Arsenal. No, worse than Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, Arsenal's rich. They're just cheap.
You're right. And yeah, the thing, I don't remember the last time Barcelona wasn't in Champions League.
2001 is the first time that they haven't made the round of 16.
Okay, but they still made it the next year.
It's probably been a very long time. I mean,
So
I'm
that's
sure
what
we
I'm
can
saying.
look it up. I mean, formats have changed, hairstyles have changed,
Sure.
lots
And
of
you know
things have
what?
changed.
Realistically, going back past the year 2000, it probably doesn't matter all that much because the money really wasn't all the way there yet until the last 10, 15 years. The point I'm making is that when you look at, you mentioned Barcelona's bottom line, they look at that as an absolute staple of their finances.
They've
right? They don't
already
even think
spent
about
it. Yeah.
They don't even think about it. And now, not only is it not going to be there, you're in trouble, and it's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Right. So this is something where if you're doing your books and you're like, okay, I have this $80 million, and now you're like, all right, there's a lot of murky water over here, but at least I have this, and I can build off of that. Now the murky water has invaded all the way into the other end of the boat, and you're in deep shit here, Barcelona. So, I'm worried for them.
Yeah, they could slip through the moon door. I think that there is a cycle, and we've been talking about this. And you heard it here first: the Premier League being bigger than the Champions League, the Premier League being bigger than the whole of European soccer.
That's right.
It is a vortex. It is a problem. Juve's in trouble. Real Madrid are the best managed of the other big three, but it's really the Premier League and Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich is only able to hang on because they're supremely run, and they have a league that is weirdly so efficient that the teams go, well, I have to sell my best players to Bayern because that's how I make money. They don't think in terms of like being like, well, I'm never doing that. They're care.
Not worldly. They're like Ohio. They think that they think that everything revolves around them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey guys, I don't know if you noticed, but 1945 called and they decided the rest of the world was right.
Yeah.
World War II reference for the day. But that's the thing is that like if you've ever been to Ohio, people are like, why would you ever leave? Like, why would you go to California? Why would you go to New York? Why would you go to Florida? Mostly because it's not Ohio. But that's the thing about Germany has that same mentality.
Yeah.
Where they're so it's like
it's insular.
Stockholm syndrome with a side of nationalism. It's crazy.
But there's also this protectionism of like, they don't want foreign money. They don't want to expand. They don't want to have games on Saturday to make more money on television. The Bundesliga was on ESPN Plus before anyone else. Yeah. And they've just shoved it aside and be like, hey, we're going to spend money on La Liga. Oh, without Ronaldo and Cristiano, because Spanish people are into this. And it's way more dramatic. Bayern Munich and that league just doesn't generate the interest, the revenue, any of it.
You could argue over the last 10 years has been as good of a product as the Premier League from the neutral perspective.
Yeah, it's absolutely a good neutral perspective, but they can't seem to develop the narratives around it. They can't seem to get people behind it. It's not, I think the thing that hardcore soccer fans don't seem to understand is high level of play is not what makes your league good, right? It's drama, it's personality, it's all the other stuff and play, right?
Yes.
Like if Cristiano would not be Cristiano without Messi, and Real would not be Real without Barcelona.
Sure.
Bayern just needs Dortmund to be better. In fact, it should be in their interest to not buy their players.
Right.
Like
it's as
if they had Lewandowski the whole time, it would have been a league. And it would have been in their interest to lose once in a while.
Yeah. It's as if the Red Sox in the late 90s and early 2000s sold everybody to Steinbrenner and the Yankees. And you're like, hey, why the fuck are they doing that?
Yeah,
That's
I don't want
They're just trying to stay afloat.
I don't want Pedro.
Right.
I hate him, and I like that he's there as much as I secretly love Pedro more than any player that I've ever loved in my life.
To this day, I'd throw hands with that guy if I ever met him. But
he's
nonetheless,
come on.
I it's like the end of Anchorman when like Vince Vaughn looks at Ron Burgundy. He's like, I hate you, but God damn it, do I respect you? Right? That's how I feel about Pedro Martinez.
I love him. I love him. Yeah, I mean, I think
so. Talk to me about Kyle Walker. What did he do?
Okay, so City
I've seen him do it 100 times.
City have a complete dead rubber. They've got the group cleared away. Once they beat PSG, they were good. A lot of City fans really wanted a couple of the kids to play because City have, after 10 years and a high level of development, and the guys that ran the Masia that ended up making the Barcelona that we all know and love, they've actually making that at City. There's 2 or 3 kids that are coming through that are really, really good. And then our best one, the guy that I love, Liam Delap, has been hurt, so he's not even playing. But anyway, Everyone wanted them to play. City have minutes that they need to get. Kevin De Bruyne plays. He hasn't been playing. Foden gets an extra second game back-to-back. They're trying to build up the team, but they do retain Walker in the side. Okay, City give up a goal on the break. John Stones plays. He's a little bit slow. Guys haven't been playing. Fine. City are down. They're losing this game 2-0, whatever. It's a little chippy. It's a little dirty. There's no fans in the stadium because Germany's freaking out over something that hasn't killed anyone. Anyway, that's another story we talked about with Spurs. And Kyle Walker just decides to fucking shin the guy from behind. And he gets a red. And now, for the round of 16, he won't be available. And that means that Cancelo plays on the left. Yeah, it's 1 game. It could be 3.
I thought it was it was 2 yellows. It wasn't a straight red.
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know.
So then if it's a straight red, then he's out until the second leg of the quarterfinal.
I don't think it's a straight red. It wasn't bad. It wasn't something that, like, if they got a straight red, they should review it because it's not a straight. It's a kick out in the back heel. It is a straight red, but it's not malicious. It's just kind of
but somebody I don't think that matters.
I know, but it was dumb. It's like
and they can
if they look at it. However, it's UEFA and it's City. They'll fuck City if they can.
Yeah, that just means he'll play in the Premier League that week and a half, and it'll be fine.
Right, but that is I think you know this, and I say this all the time. Kyle Walker is secretly City's.
He's their last line of defense.
He's the get out of jail. He's the guy who stops things that don't happen. Sorry, he stops things from happening that you don't see. He simply runs back, stands in front of a guy, and that was going to be a goal, but now it just stops.
He's got makeup speed, and you can't teach that, right? So, yeah, I get it. But
it has the downstream effects because now Cancelo has to play on the right, which means he's not on the left, which means he's not cutting inside and being an extra man.
Zinchenko then?
It'll be Zinchenko likely. There isn't another. Mendy raped someone, and we don't talk about him anymore. So yeah, he's gone.
Well, okay. This is going to be. It's a good segue. This is going to be
the other Mendy. Oh no,
this is going to be right after the January transfer window. The game's in February.
They could get a right back.
They could go get a fucking right back. No problem.
Probably don't
would you like Matt Doherty? I can give you Matt Doherty for $20.
What happened to that guy? I like that guy.
Mourinho happened to that guy. He broke him in half. He hated Matt Doherty. Oh my goodness.
Oh God. So we talked a little bit about Chelsea. We've talked about City, United. The less spoken about them. It's more time for the Rangnick patrol. But Rangnick in this game, he does play the kids. There's like new United guys I've never heard of before. Orlando Carician is playing for Man United now. Let me get his name correct. Let's see. What's his name?
Oh, I have no idea.
Elanga. We got a return of Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Matic in defense. Very, very funky lineup. So
yeah, I mean, he's trying to see what he's got, right? Like, he knows up front what he's looking at, and it's about trying to move pieces around and see what sticks in the event that he needs them, which makes sense in the holiday period. And additionally, speaking of, give your guys a blow, So, I that makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah. So they get an easy draw, no big deal, something easy. The only thing about this one that was interesting was in Charlie Savage played, who's Robbie Savage's son, who's a famous Premier League pundit, famous more for his hair than what he says. So we have a son appearance and another interesting thing like that. So United get through to their thing. I'm getting tired of the Champions League. I don't care about any other games. I still find the Premier League way more compelling. And I think my feeling is the feeling that a lot of people must have, because it's real. It really, if they're going to expand the Champions League, which they're going to do, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, is there, I guess the question is, and maybe this is a bigger talking point, is there a version of the European Super League that makes sense, that would be palatable, that's not the Champions League? And why would the Premier League even do it? They don't.
Well, the question, okay, so let me pose it to you like this then. When you said they're going to expand the Champions League, my thinking was, okay, there's two ways to do this. A, you expand it equally. You give all of the also ran leagues, kind of a shot. And by the way, I've got $20 that says the Dubai Super League is just trying to get a fucking bid into Champions League. Or
they'll take the money. They're whores.
Right. Or do you give 2 spots each additionally to England, Spain, France, Germany, right? The big 5 leagues, which ironically none of them deserve besides England anyway. So if you gave 4 spots to England, let's say.
We already have 4.
No. Additional.
4 more. So you went down to 8.
Would you take the 8th place team in England right now, which I'm not sure who it is, but we have an idea. It's probably Leicester. No, Leicester's in like 10th. I think it's Arsenal.
It would be Arsenal. Yes. The world would take Arsenal in a heartbeat.
Over anybody in the top 4. All right. Anybody outside of first place in France, Germany, or Spain?
Yes. I mean, I think that is an absolute fact. There are not big enough brands in the other leagues. There's no team in another league that is as big as Arsenal. Not even close.
And maybe Arsenal's a bad example because they're not supposed to be.
They're really big. But Aston Villa is bigger than.
Okay, well, technically Wolves. Arsenal's 7th right now. So Wolves, that's a great example. Brighton, 8 and 9. If it was a Wolves Brighton fight.
No, that's a poor group. People wouldn't.
Okay.
Care.
But all right, let's go look at Serie A. Interesting.
It would be
Inter,
like Roma,
Napoli, and Atalanta. Those are your. You're gonna
Fiorentina,
Roma.
It'd be like Roma. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they've got history. Who gives a shit? This league is dead, right? So, and by the way, they're deeper than France or Germany.
Germany's team really has bad branding. Like nobody.
Yeah.
Like if you go out and you start talking about Freiburg or Stuttgart or Borussia Mönchengladbach or Wolfsburg, people are like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, we think, like someone like Watt. To be honest, City is a small team. We just happen to have bought our way in. Like City's not as big as some of these. Is not as big as Roma.
Big meaning,
honestly,
they're
been getting
around, there, right? But yeah, I mean, look, they've got.
I mean, if it means that 70% of the time Everton, Arsenal, Spurs are basically guaranteed to be in Europe, then it's worth it, right?
Okay. Well, let me ask you this from the college football playoff argument that I keep hearing: does it cheapen or enhance the Premier League season for the teams who are from, let's say, 6 to 10, right?
It makes it, it cheapens it. This is the argument that the Premier League has. Is like, why would we do this?
Yeah.
We don't need to. You come to our league, we'll pick you guys off. You play in England.
So think about this. When you finish second, okay, fine. You're going to Champions League, but you didn't get what you wanted. Third, all right, hey, we're fine. We're going to Champions League. Fourth feels like a trophy, right? Trust me, I'm a Spurs supporter. Fourth feels like a trophy. Fifth, depending on who you are, is either first, like the next second place. So you're like, fuck, we got to go to Europa League. Or you're West Ham. You're like, we get to go to Europa League, right? So then all you're doing is you're pushing these down the line. And if you were to make more spots for England, and by the way, let's talk about it for all of the big five. Let's say there's 2 more spots per England, Spain, Germany, France, and Italy, right? Then you're just pushing that further down. And so what you're telling me is that Liverpool and Chelsea
would just be in perpetuity.
Well, yeah, but this year's version of Liverpool and Chelsea, we've talked about it on the show a lot, head and shoulders above the West Ham, Spurs, United, Arsenal, Wolves, Brighton group. But 2 of those teams, at the end of the day, are going to get less money because of how they placed.
Mm-hmm.
But what? Why? And the only thing I can really see is not so much expanding the entire Champions League format, but more play-in games. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, I could see that. But
are you ready for my radical idea?
Yeah.
Here's my radical idea. First of all, England is Brexited. They're not part of the EU anymore, right?
Okay.
The Premier League is outside of the FA. They're not really governed by the FA and the EFL. They're separate already. If you're the Premier League, why don't you go to 24 teams, bring in Real and Barca and Bayern, and just be like, we expanded. They're in our league.
France is right there. Spain's a little bit of a trek, but France is right fucking there. So
okay, we'll let you guys fight it out. Who wants to be in the Premier League? The Germans, you don't want to be in it? All right, we got 3 spots.
The Joker snaps a pool cue. And
right?
All right, there you go.
Yeah, because basically it would be like, you just say, we're expanding 3 teams. We're taking them from Europe. Which one of you 3 want to be in it? And if I'm the Premier League, I want Barca and Real. I could do without Juve. I could do without Bayern. I could do without PSG. PSG is not a big team.
Okay, here's let's build on this. Why wouldn't then, and you basically, in doing this, you would more or less have no need for Champions League. So the money already doesn't make fucking
because
sense.
you've got all of South America now. They're just like, oh, we need the Premier League rights because it's the Premier League plus Barca and Real.
Well, I'm going further. What
happens if Barca gets relegated? That's the problem. Do they have to go to the championship?
That's what I'm here to ask you, right? Like,
I don't know. I haven't thought that far. It was half baked.
The Super League is that it was closed, right?
Yeah.
And so
it needed relegation. Yeah, that's.
And if you have Pro and Rel, what is La Liga doing? What is Bundesliga doing? Because if you were to take Bayern out of Bundesliga, it's the championship. Right. So,
well, it just slides up one. Dortmund just wins all the time.
Yeah, sure, but okay. What I'm getting at is collapse all of the leagues into the England structure. Fuck it.
All of you just let the whole thing float, and it just goes.
Yeah.
So it's small enough. Why not? Yeah, we just do Pro Rel. Yeah. We just take the big 5 leagues. And we just have a playoff for which team wins.
Yeah. And so the Champions League spots would create a play-in system to get into the initial inflated Premier League.
But what becomes the first division? What country is it based in?
It's based in it is the Champions League now.
No, but you know what I mean? Like if you were to take the pyramid, if you were to take Europe's big 5 and literally make that the pyramid, right?
Well, France is the 5th division then.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, how do you float it so that, how does it go up?
France, right? Germany, Spain, Italy, England.
Right. So to create the Premier League, is it top 7 from England, top 3 from Germany? So how do we get to the first 20? Right. And here's the thing. You all have to play our game. I'm sorry. I'm Leeds United. Do you know who the fuck I am? I'm in the Premier League. You have to take my spot. Okay. Well, no, I understand that. But if you get relegated, if you're Leeds and you get relegated, do I have to now play in France? You're like, we're going to Dijon. We're going to Stade Rennes. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, I mean,
that would be, Leeds just traveling around Europe to play weird teams because they're in this new league system would be incredible because they would it would be like the Saracens burning down countries and stabbings and knivings and and the Turk and everyone out of the top 5 leagues is just like, well, what about like Rangers? And I'm like, no, sorry, Rangers. You don't count. Anyway,
see now, folks, this is what happens. We're 30 minutes in. This is what happens when you have an absolutely horrible slate of match day.
Yeah. We start making
probably the worst week of the season. I hope it is, because I don't know if I can handle anything worse. There's not a single game on this schedule that I went, oh, I want to watch that. You brought up one, and it's because of narrative, and Villa, because of the narrative and Gerrard and going back to Anfield. So you know what? You're right. I want to watch the pregame and the first 10 minutes, and then I don't give a shit. And the problem is that this is the first weekend without college football. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with myself. But
you're going to have to watch these games. So here are the bad narrative stories we have. We have the Bees of Brentford versus the Hornets of Watford. Isn't that funny? It's a bug game. Okay, that's Friday. We have if this were the Leeds of the previous season, Leeds Chelsea would have been good, but I don't like what's happened to Leeds. They're getting their guys back, but now they've lost Phillips again. So without Phillips, that's not a contest. Manchester City Wolves should be a good game. The two best defensive teams going against each other. Wolves can't score. City don't give up anything. So City will just win this game 1-0 and then knock the ball around because they have midfielder mentality, not a striker's mentality. I could see Traore not missing after running in on goal, which he normally does. Arsenal try and get back in their fake, we're going to make the top 4 against Southampton. They lost 2 on the bounce. They're kind of back to normal. They're up and down, and they don't have the talent, frankly. We have a war of claret and blue of Burnley versus West Ham. That's
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
I would have loved Brighton versus Tottenham, but now that COVID
that would have been the game.
Tottenham is canceled. How is your schedule looking now for Spurs? Spurs now have 3 games to make.
3 games in all competitions in hand. And like I said in the open, I don't know what's going to happen with the Stad Ren game. Or was it?
Should they just forfeit it and just be like, oh fuck?
They absolutely should. But here's the thing: they pussyfooted around about it. The opposition, I don't even remember if it was Stad Ren or Vitesse, but they were fucking pissed off. They came to London because Spurs, I think yesterday or earlier in the week, said this game is not happening, and UEFA said, "Fuck you, yeah, it is." And they sent the opposing team to London and the opposing team's fans. And they're like, no, fuck you. This game is being played. Now, I said in the open, like, this is really, at this point, this is a big old crock of shit. And I firmly believe that. But there's 13 positive tests with Spurs. I don't know if that's all players. They obviously didn't mention who, but it's first team staff and all that shit. But that's a lot, right? And so you physically don't have enough players who are able to play the game. In any other scenario, if everybody got the fucking flu, you'd either play sick or you'd forfeit. But because we're in this hypochondriac world now, we need to just put everything on hold for something that has killed literally 0 people. Nonetheless, the way that it was handled by everybody, which this will surprise you, was horrible. Right? Like UEFA sent these guys. They had no business playing this game. I think that's actually genuinely fair, whatever. And Spurs were out on the front foot about it. By the way, Spurs fans on Twitter are made to care is to do a hashtag because that's the right thing to do. Oh, pull your thumb out of your fucking asses, dude.
The English have been brainwashed.
Well, it's not even that. I'm surprised there aren't more shoulder injuries among the English for patting themselves on the fucking back. Like, it's ridiculous. Knock it off.
The other thing is they all hate Boris Johnson and he's a skeptic. So
yeah, but it's the same thing with Gavin Newsom in California. So it's not a politics left or right thing. It's just people in charge are fucking assholes
and dumb.
Anyway, so and you're dumb for voting for him, regardless of who it is.
Well, no one in England votes, so it doesn't matter.
That's true. But so then there's that piece, and then there's just complete confusion for everybody involved for Spurs.
Because it's all bullshit. It's all crap. Like they should
Right.
either just play or not play, but don't half play and say we care about the players. You care about the check. And
Yeah,
Conte
exactly.
was actually honest. He seemed to genuinely care about his players. He's like, we're not playing. Who cares? It's fucking
That's
football.
exactly it. That Spurs statement was born out of Conte basically grabbing Levy by the shirt collar and was like, I'm going to fucking kill you if you try and have this game played.
Yeah.
Which is great.
We're
And
not
so
playing, period.
I don't care about the Thursday game. The Sunday game would, like I said, the schedule sucks. Would have been the game of the week. But
for me,
I think it's a huge win for Spurs to not have this game. Why?
Yeah.
Every day that they have Antonio Conte as their manager,
training makes
the
a
day
difference.
that they are better than they were yesterday. So if you play Brighton in 3 months when this game gets rescheduled for when, I don't know, whenever it gets rescheduled, because they're not going to play it another game through January. They're not going to shoehorn a game in there.
No.
But if they don't make it into the Europa Conference League, you'll have one of those games where everybody's paying attention to like the Champions League quarterfinals, and Spurs are playing Burnley or Spurs are playing Brighton, because those are the two games they have to make up.
Yeah.
So everything, the longer you go, the more advantage Spurs have for that game.
The more time with Conte.
Exactly. And you don't know what injuries may or may not occur before then, but whatever, right? Like these are crucial times, even if you're not getting anything out of it necessarily because everybody's on their deathbed, even though they're vaccinated. So that's kind of how
the thing that we don't get is we don't get Neil Maupay sodomizing Spurs.
We don't. And by the way, I was ready. I don't have any bets, but I was going to bet on Maupay to score. Like that was it. Like I hate that prick, but man, if there's anything in this show the last 2 weeks.
So I miss out on my favorite team, Brighton. You don't get your team to play. We're stuck with still Leicester versus Newcastle and Palace versus Everton. We talked about Everton, Arsenal. I don't remember. We must have talked about Damari Gray's goal. But anyway, we talked very briefly about Atletico. That we're already past that. Yeah, there's not much.
Here's a question for you. Take the names and take the logos out of this match week. On pure on-field talent alone, what do you think is the most entertaining game to watch? Because we just told our listeners, don't watch any of these fucking games.
No.
I said that. But I actually think there's one or two in here.
Yeah, if it were me, it will be me because I'm going to watch the games. I think Chelsea Leeds is going to be good because Leeds is going to come after them, and Chelsea are reeling, but still a far better team. Tuchel has to kind of move around a lot to sort of break Leeds down, but Leeds come off a final minute victory. It's at Stamford Bridge. That should be fun. I think City Wolves could be good. The way City are playing right now, it's just unbelievable to watch them. Just
that's fair.
Precision of like fucking Ginsu knives. Of like, they're very. I feel like City are like a Japanese soccer team. Like they are very precise. Everything is like to the mark. It's perfect. They look right. Like they're the team that have the perfectly tailored suits with the right shoes. They have the right haircut and the right sunglasses and the right everything. They kind of look like the SS. If you really think about it. Very cool uniforms. Like we might hate Nazis and Germany and all that stuff. They looked amazing killing everyone. Anyway. That's kind of what City are.
They had a great kit, man.
They really did have the best kits. I mean, it was Kappa classics. Anyway, Hugo Boss, amazing. Norwich City versus Man United. I mean, this will be weirdly a test because I feel like Rangnick has had a lot of time playing at home. There's been a lot of that, and I think Dean Smith is pretty clever. Norwich have played better. If United is weak, they could have a slip up. I think there's an interest in that game. But in terms of pure play, without the names, it's Chelsea versus Leeds for me.
Okay.
That's
I
the
agree with
only one.
all of them, but there's one more I'll add on. I think it's
Yeah.
Palace Everton. I think that they, again, if you take the names and the crests off everything and all the branding, I think that becomes a fun game to watch as a neutral.
I don't know.
Otherwise,
I mean,
I
Everton
don't
are
think
just bad, but that is a
But that's the thing is
teams
that Palace
close
could really
together.
take him to the woodshed.
Yeah, it's two teams close together, two teams trying to play different ways and changing their identities. I think it is a clash of styles. We'll see where Vieira's got Palace after they've lost a couple of tough games in a row. The United game for them was bad. I want to see what my guy Gallagher can muster up some more strength to take on. I mean, Gallagher, Decore in the midfield should be good.
Sure, yeah.
And then we've got, Liverpool. Can they keep going and keep scoring goals, right, against Villa?
Against a resurgent Villa.
Villa's been good.
And you know that Gerrard is going to have them revved up for that.
He's got them revved up. That dude is on tilt.
Yes, but we talked about it when he took the job. We talked about this game specifically when he took the job. 3 out of last 4 on the bounce.
I would recommend Jamie Carragher did an interview with Gerrard. It's on YouTube. And they're not acting like buddies. It's really like Gerrard is, guys take over manager jobs. And I never felt this way from Zidane. He's a 3-time Champions League winner. Gerrard is like slid in. He's got the mileage under. He just seems like a Premier League manager already. He's got a really strong demeanor already, right? It's not like, hey, look, I'm managing. Kind of the way Lampard was like, and then Ole is the worst case of this. He's just like, what? How did I?
Here's the thing. I think Lampard was worse.
Than Ole? No.
Yeah.
No way. Not even close. No. Not close.
I mean, he was terrible with the Champions League winning team.
Yeah, but he was playing the wrong guys.
That's part of what I'm saying. Like,
he just didn't see that Rudiger was his best defender.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think fucking weird. I don't think he's at it at all. I think Ole, for all he and the other thing is that like you said, the demeanor and all that stuff. I think Ole tried. I don't think
Lampard.
I don't think Lampard knew to. I don't think he's got any fucking charisma whatsoever.
Lampard,
that's part of the job.
Agree.
It's part of the job, right? So
Gerrard has charisma. I'm like, okay, where are we going? Let's go. I'm ready. Like, you want us to go fuck that guy up?
Yeah.
And he's the guy who's like, you ever met my mate Stanley? Like, he's there with the knife. He's ready to go.
I'll tell you, and this is going to be 2 Tops throwbacks in a second there.
Yeah.
Gerrard has some Bramlage in him. He's and for those that are uninitiated, Michael Bramlage, who I know is a big listener of the show, was our fearless leader when we were both working at Tops many moons ago. And again, he was the kind of guy that he was like, we're going to do this shit today. And it was absolutely crazy. And then a half hour later, we walked out of his office going, yeah, we're going to fucking do that shit today. So I think that's where Gerrard chimes in on that. But
I feel like
he's a guy that's like, we're going to do something ridiculous. And he instills the belief in you over the next half hour that this is how we're going to do it. You walk out of there going, let's do it.
Like, I didn't think so. But now I think the end of the season we'll know if he's going to be the next Liverpool manager.
Yes. Well, all right. And so he can't just cut and run on Villa too, right? Like, I think it's got to be.
Sure he can. If Liverpool comes, he goes.
Well, yes. But the question is, when does he come, right? When do they come? And I think it probably doesn't happen until the end of next season.
But he's got to win. Like, it's got to be like
Villa. And that's the other thing.
Villa push top 6.
Listen, the new manager bump, we hear about it all the time, right? Let's see Villa go through a little rough patch. Mm-hmm. Let's see him go through the whole rigmarole one time.
McGinn injured, Watkins out, like that kind of like, what do we do?
And so, he'll have about 25 games under his belt, which is close enough. That's 2/3 of a season at that point. So
maybe where do they have to? This is good. Let's go through it, right? Villa are on, let's see.
19 points.
They're at, I want to see, where's the points per game? They're on 1.27 points per game. Do they have to get to like at 1.5 points per game? Would that be, we're almost
That's
at 19.
56?
Would that put them at 56? It needs to be 60.
57.
It needs to be a nice, if he can get them to 60 points, that would be
Sure.
fucking huge.
But let's be very clear about something. He's been manager for what, 5 games?
Yeah. But they've been good.
They had 9 points in those 5 games. They had 10 points in the first 10 games.
Yeah, and they lost to City, which was, that was their big loss.
Right. Yeah. So
they are.
I want to see it in a longer stretch from him, of course.
I agree.
Right?
But
and Liverpool should too. If you're a Liverpool fan listening to this, you shouldn't be like, I'm fucking not hiring him right now. Do you want him to succeed so you can hire him? Of course you do. But you want him to prove it. You want him to put it beyond a shadow of a doubt for him to be like walking back into Anfield going, yeah, obviously this is my place. But I want Liverpool to go, yeah, we're not even interviewing anybody, right? Like, yes.
Well, I mean, he may be, look, Klopp may leave and they may be in a situation where we're still the best team in the world. We cannot hire Steve Gerrard.
Right.
We're hiring Nagelsmann. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not.
So you could get the ships passing in the night thing, right? Because, like I said, and
it's all about timing, right? Yeah.
Exactly. The more I think about this, like, okay, and I said after next season, but then I thought about it. Yeah, 25 games is enough of a sample size in the Premier League for you to say you've got it or you don't, because you'll played everybody once at that point, and you'll have gone through the ups and downs, and most importantly, the festive season, which is the most hectic time of the year. But I don't.
Is Aston Villa in the FA Cup? Can they win the FA Cup?
Yeah, of course they are.
Are they in? Well, they are in the FA Cup. Are they in the League Cup? I don't even know anymore.
I'm not sure.
Carabao.
Yeah,
I think they're out.
But that's the thing is that like I think that Liverpool
they're out. They're
watching very intently. Yeah, it's fine. They're
You're
watching
in.
very intently.
You've got West Ham, December 22nd.
No, dude. I know.
Enjoy.
I hate it.
Oh, some good teams in that group.
Yeah, there are. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, that should be good. That's a good little Christmas gift. The old Carabao
Here's
Cup.
the thing. If we're playing West Ham, if we're playing Arsenal, if we're playing Chelsea, all of a sudden I care about this trophy. But otherwise,
if you don't care and West Ham comes to White Hart Lane and beats
you,
can't
have that.
Can't have that. That's twice in a season? No. Can't have that.
Can't have that.
You got to come. We're bringing knives. Well, let's decide what weapons we're bringing. Okay? No knives.
Everybody get on the same page.
Yeah. Let's go get that done. Let's wrap this sucker up.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole heck of a lot else to talk about. We don't really have that many bets. You know what, guys? Take the week off. Take your girlfriend, your wife out to dinner. Don't bet on sports. All right. Man.
Go Christmas shopping. It's a big week.
Go Christmas shopping. Yeah. Laurent, let's get the hell out of here.
That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network who have announcements coming up. There's a hockey podcast that you're not on. I don't know why.
I'm not on it.
We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Apple, please rate and review the show. And there was a regression to the mean from the Rangers. They lost 7-2.
I told you they suck.